Hey everyone! In the next 5 minutes, we're going to break down the core concepts for Section 1 of WGU D882. Think of this as your high-speed review, really designed to help you connect all the key pieces before your exam. This whole explainer is built to be a fast, super effective study guide. We're going to see how all these key ideas link up. We're going to move pretty quick, so let's just dive right in. So, here's our game plan. We're going to start small, like really small, with the fundamental particles. Then we'll see how they build life's giant molecules. From there, we'll zoom into the cell itself, check out the engine that powers it, and finish up by looking at how cells reproduce. It's a logical path from the ground up. All right, let's kick things off at the very beginning. We're talking about the smallest, most fundamental building block you need to know, the atom. You know, it's so easy to forget, but literally everything, and I mean everything, is made of atoms. The desk you're at, the air you're breathing, they are the absolute foundation of all matter. And inside every atom, you've got these 3 key players. The real magic here is in how their charges and locations work together. You've got positive protons in the center, giving the atom its identity, but it's those negative electrons whizzing around on the outside that are the real deal. They're the ones that form connections with other atoms. Their whole arrangement is everything. And those electrons, well, they connect in 2 main ways. In an ionic bond, it's pretty dramatic. One atom just completely gives away an electron to another. But in a covalent bond, which is what you'll see all over biology, atoms actually stick together by sharing their electrons. It's a much more stable partnership. So we've got atoms using bonds to connect. Now, what happens when they link up in these massive, super complex chains? Well, that's when you get the giant molecules, or macromolecules, that are the true building blocks of life. For this course, you absolutely need to know these 4. Think of them like a construction crew building a house. You've got your fuel source, your building materials, the workers doing the actual labor, and of course, the blueprints. Each one has a critical job. First up, let's talk about the fuel for our crew, carbohydrates. These are basically made of sugar units, and they provide that quick, easy-to-access energy that cells need to get anything done. They also pitch in on some structural stuff, too. Next, we have the building materials, lipids, so fats and oils. They're great for storing energy for the long haul, but honestly, their most important job is building the cell's outer boundary, the cell membrane. It's basically the walls of our construction site. And now for the workers. Proteins. These guys are the real workhorses of the cell, no question. They do just about everything. They build structures, they carry signals, and as enzymes, they're absolutely crucial for speeding up all the chemical reactions that keep you alive. And last but not least, you've got the master blueprints for the entire project. Nucleic acids. We're talking about your DNA and RNA. They hold every single instruction for what the cell is and everything those protein workers need to do. Okay. So we've got our fuel, our materials, our workers, and our blueprints. Let's go check out the bustling construction site where they all come together. The fundamental unit of life itself, the cell. Right away, you need to know about this major fork in the road. You've got prokaryotic cells like bacteria, which are pretty simple. Their DNA just kind of floats around inside. And then you have eukaryotic cells, the stuff that makes up plants, animals, and us. They are way more complex, and they keep their precious DNA safe inside a command center called the nucleus. Inside these complex eukaryotic cells, you find all these specialized compartments called organelles. Each one has a very specific job to do. It's kind of like how your body has organs, a cell has organelles all working together. And here it is, that command center we talked about, the nucleus. This thing is basically the brain of the cell. It guards the DNA blueprint and sends out all the orders for what the cell should be doing. So if the nucleus is the grain, then you can think of the mitochondria as the power plants. These are the organelles that take in fuel and generate the cell's main energy currency, a super important molecule called ATP. Now let's pop the hood and look at the actual processes that keep the cell running. How does it move things around? And how exactly does it turn food into that usable energy? A huge challenge for any cell is just controlling what gets in and what gets out. It's got 2 main ways to do this. There's passive transport, where stuff just flows naturally downhill, from high concentration to low, no energy needed. But sometimes a cell has to pump things uphill, against the flow. That's active transport, and it forces the cell to spend some of that ATP energy it made. And this right here is how the cell actually makes that ATP. Cellular respiration is like a 3-act play. First, sugar gets broken down. Then, the process moves into the mitochondria for something called the Krebs cycle. And finally, in the big finale, a ton of ATP is produced. It's the core energy-making process for most life on this planet. All right, for our last section, let's talk about how cells make more of themselves. This process is absolutely fundamental for how organisms grow, heal, and, of course, create the next generation. Now, cells divide in two main ways, and for totally different reasons. You've got mitosis, which is basically cellular cloning. It creates two perfect, identical copies of a cell, which is what you need for growth and repair. Then you have meiosis, which is all about shuffling the deck and creating genetic variety. This is for sexual reproduction, and it makes 4 unique cells, like sperm and eggs. Mitosis isn't just one quick event. It's more like a carefully choreographed dance with 4 distinct phases. The DNA packs up tight, everything lines up perfectly in the middle, the copies get pulled apart to opposite ends, and finally, the cell splits into 2 new identical cells. It is an incredibly precise and amazing process. And there you have it, our rapid-fire review all the way from single atoms up to the complex dance of dividing cells. I really hope this explainer helped you connect the dots for Section 1. If you found it helpful, do me a favor and hit like and subscribe for more study guides like this one.